you condemn white supremacy? And he bundled around, he was saying that. I said, how about the Proud Boys? And he said, well,
Ronald Reagan was 2 months into his presidency when John Hinckley Jr. blew a $20 million.
About blowing up the White House.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
I want to take this message to talk to your viewers real quick about the story, the conversation we need to have now. The BOP is wasting lots of tax dollars in frivolous spending, and
Good evening, my fellow patriotic Americans. My name is Barry Ramey, and you are now live with the American Rising on the new War Boys Studios. And man, what a week! What a week we have had. You have seen a lot of the news from Iran and Israel, the Minnesota assassination of a Democratic Congresswoman, state representative who voted against party lines and denied illegal immigrants taxpayer-funded health care, and she is dead or unalived. Sorry. Trying to learn the new double-speak Orwellian lingo as we go on further into this journey. It's strange, this Minnesota story. It keeps unfolding and details keep coming out. It just, nothing really adds up about it. We've learned now that this individual, this killer, his wife was caught 85 miles from the crime scene with a bunch of passports, $10,000 in cash, gun, ammunition, kids in the car, getting ready to head somewhere. And it just keeps getting stranger and stranger. It's something we're following. We'll break it down in a little bit. But first, I can't go any further without talking about my good old friend, Congressman Hank Johnson. Congressman Hank Johnson is known. He's notorious for being one of the dumbest fucking members of Congress you have ever got to witness. I don't know if you remember Hank Johnson, but if you need a little bit of a refresher, this is our boy. He's famous for this right here.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
We don't anticipate that.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is Hank Johnson. He's notorious for that remark right there. And he's back at it. He's back giving his brilliant artistic interpretation of politics in America. Hank has decided to rewrite an American classic, much like his party is trying to rewrite the history of this great country. Hank decided to unalive a Jimi Hendrix song by remaking it. Hank is a spectacle in and of himself. He's a Democrat congressman from Georgia. He has the IQ of a fucking goldfish. I'm pretty sure there's approximately 4 brain cells left in that head of his, and they've been getting engaged in a game of freeze tag for the last 4 or 5 decades. I get concerned when you look at how politicians like Hank Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and we're going to throw some Republicans in there, Lindsey Graham, how they keep getting reelected over and over and over again. And it goes to what, and I wish I coined this, but I didn't, but it goes to what a lot of people say. We do not have a politician problem in this country. We have a people problem in this country. The people that continuously elect these representatives represent very, very properly the people in their district, the people that elect these buffoons continuously over and over again. That is America's major problem, and Hank is is the epitome of that. So Hank has decided to put his artistic expression foot forward and write a song about our president butchering the great classic from Jimi Hendrix, "Hey Joe." But of course, you know, Hank, he's a little bit more original than that. He's got a twist. So without any further ado, I'm gonna bring you the new Hank Johnson hit. It's called "Hey Trump."
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Congressman Hank Johnson here with my Fender Stratocaster. Just recently picked it up. Thought I would try it out. I hate to hurt your ears and everything, but I'm just learning to play guitar, and it happens to be Black Music Month of 2025, and so I'm compelled with a new guitar and with some thoughts about that old song, "Hey Joe," you know, to give some commentary on where we are now. And if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna just strum a little bit. Please don't hold it against me. Hey, Trump.
Yeah.
Where you going with that gun in your hand? Hey, Trump. Where you going with that gun in your hand?
All right, I'm going to continue this in a second, but we're gonna stop there for a moment. We're gonna have a chat. You're never gonna hear me on this show, especially, or in general, or in life. You're never gonna hear me make a case for the Republican Party that somehow they're off the hook with all of their crap antics and the shit that they do. You know, I don't make excuses for them, but you don't see any of these Republicans going in there. You know, these people are sent to Congress to do the job of the constituents that send them there. Okay, he's in office on the taxpayers' dime, on the clock, strumming his freaking guitar, singing songs about Trump killing democracy. Okay, first of all, let's put aside for a second that this is the party currently going around the country convincing you, the American, that somehow you have elected a king, and they say no more. So they're one hand, they're saying that they have a king and a dictator, and they're going around the country preaching about this. But on the same note, this elected official has the time to go inside of an office and strum a song about this king he has destroying democracy. You don't see this type of cringe ass shit from the right anywhere like you do from the left. And I don't know what it is. You know, maybe it's the low testosterone, which, you know, then when I finish that sentence, the right definitely suffers from that too. So you know, we're gonna go and we're gonna continue this masterpiece. Let's break this down. What does old Hank have to say?
I'm going down the street, shoot down democracy.
Yeah.
You know I want to be a king someday. I'm going down and shoot democracy down. You know I want to be the king someday.
Oh my God, this is really hard to listen to. Yeah, so this individual is an elected official, okay? He's out there on the taxpayer dime, writing songs when he should be at work, hard at work, doing his thing, passing laws and fighting for these people in Georgia and doing what they want. But something tells me, back to my original point, that these people that voted for this individual look at this video and actually think it's a good thing. They're not bothered by it. I don't know about you, but if Florida had Matt Gaetz in office strumming a fucking guitar with some Fuka shell necklace on, talking about how Kamala Harris is, a commie piece of trash, I would have a problem with that. I would say, Matt, you're making us look bad. And I think a lot of other individuals that identify as I do on the political spectrum would agree the fucking same, that this is ridiculous. To really break down how Hank Johnson first got famous with his comments about Guam tipping over, that he was concerned that if enough military bases were placed on the island could tip over. He genuinely thought this. And albeit it is very adorably fucking hilarious that someone this dumb is opening their mouth and speaking in public and on Capitol Hill at that, it's fucking concerning. I mean, this man has won his seat over and over again. I mean, how does this happen? How do we have a congressman, a grown man, who believes that an island could tip over if there is too much weight placed on it? I don't know, and again, I'm not saying that Republicans are smart. I've seen some dumb shit there too, but you don't see this kumbaya, crap coming from conservatives. So I'm going to go to this little video real quick of our buddy Hank, and I'm going to break down something else, just to highlight how fucking dumb this guy is. And again, he's going to probably win his seat again, and that's the issue. Here we go. This is Hank Johnson suggesting somehow that Republicans planted the documents that Joe Biden had illegally at the Penn State University and in his house next to his Corvette. Here's the wise Hank Johnson's assessment on this.
My response to it all is that alleged classified documents showing up allegedly in the possession of Joseph Biden. There's so much that needs to be investigated, and that's what I call for, is for everything to be investigated. But I'm suspicious of the timing of it. I'm also aware of the fact that things can be planted on people, places and things can be planted. Things can be planted in places and then discovered conveniently. That may be what has occurred here. I'm not ruling that out, but I'm open in terms of the investigation needs to be.
Oh, that's a bright assessment right there, Hank. We really do appreciate that. Yeah. So again, this individual is an elected official. He's in Congress. Take a minute, take a quick second to give a shout out to my buddy over there, Matt Slayton on YouTube, man. Thank you for showing up. Willis Reeds, good to see you too. Even though I don't think politically we agree on anything, you're still all right with me, Willis. And again, Matt, thank you for your help last week, brother. As you know, we don't get monetized; we speak the truth. So that help you through us. That is huge, man. As we get our lives back together and march forward. Reno, real quick, I do not hate you. I actually love you, probably in a very inappropriate way that I won't discuss with my my wife. So, miss you, buddy. To the river we go again. So back to Hank. This is an issue, and this is a microcosm of a bigger problem that faces in America. That I know that for the most part, I'm preaching to the choir right now. A lot of people that have taken the time to watch this show on this network, I think it's safe to assume that a lot of you are pretty well informed. Probably a lot more than I am. I mean, I'm a community college dropout that's been in federal prison for the last 3 years. So if you think that I'm going to sit up here in front of you and pretend like I'm some kind of fucking genius, oh, no. I just like to talk a lot of shit, and I'm not afraid of what people say about me and call me. So this seems like a good job for me. It's what's happening right now, all across our country with these low level and these mouth breathing politicians on the left and the right. And I'm sorry, but more so on the left. I'm starting to think in the future of what this is going to look like in our nation, as we can all agree that between physical health and mental acuity, our population over the years has been dumbed down. Our doctors are not as smart as they were 50 years ago. Our lawyers, I don't think were ever really that smart overall, but they're definitely not as smart as they were 50 fucking years ago. Our law enforcement, FBI, look at that shit show. I mean, that's a whole nother story in and of itself, is what the FBI has become. Our intelligence community, even God bless our brave men and women in the military. I think that it's probably the last grand stand, but still, I don't think there's anybody, active men and women in the military or just out that will sit here and tell you that there has been a disintegration of the integrity of the men and women that are joining the military these days, as opposed to 50 years ago, or even just 5 or 6 years ago. But we are starting to see some changing in that department. But the point is, excuse me, the point is, our men and women are not the same as they were 50 years ago. Look at testosterone levels in men. They're down 5%. All right. Men aren't as big as they were naturally that they were 50 years ago. Men could do, a series of push-ups and be in shape all through their 20s, 30s, and 40s. This is an unachievable goal for a lot of people. The food that we eat is terrible. The air that we breathe is terrible. And these people are our peers. They're a reflection of our society. We are a reflection of our society. And these lower caliber people that have been produced by the disintegration of our society, these people now are politicians, and these institutions that were used to be utilized to train our most prestigious citizens, they have been dumbed down. They have been disintegrated into not the prestigious learning environments that they once were 50 years ago. So you're starting to see this lower caliber person trickle up and up and up and up and up into power. At what point going forward, if we continue on this path of a society, what does it look like after AOC? What does it look like after Ilhan Omar, Hank Johnson? What does it look like after them? How much lower do we go? These people are our elected officials. These people are what we put our trust in to maintain our society. And we know that we can't trust them, sure, but the integrity that they have, the life experiences that they have, the information obtained and what they're exposed to, these things, they're not what they used to be. Now you look at You look at society, what our heroes were as men back in the 80s and even into the early 90s, and certainly throughout the 70s and before. Look, what kind of toys did young boys play with? What kind of things and TV shows did young boys want to be surrounded by? It was G.I. Joe, He-Man, Ninja Turtles. You had Rambo and Rocky, and all these Apollo Creed, all these great men. Albeit they were fictional characters, they were still people out there in the world dominating and being strong and being proud to be strong. Look at what these young men look up to now. I mean, social media influencers like PewDiePie, Justin Bieber. Let me go ahead and take a second to white-splain something here. And if it offends you, I want to preemptively tell you, I really don't give a damn. But the black community, the role models that they're subjected to and shoved down their throats by the same propaganda machine that is doing it to everyone across the board, it's terrible. It is terrible, the glorification of some of these people in the black community for young black men to look up. And this is a demographic of young people that don't even have father figures, so they cling to these hip-hop artists when there's all kinds of, if we're going to go and divide it by race, there's all kinds of brilliant black Americans to look up to and aspire to be, but they're shoved to the side, and this ghettoized crap is shoved in their faces. And we wonder why carjackings and trap houses and unalivings in neighborhoods are up. We actually sit here and scratch our head. Well, we don't scratch our head. I think we're just all too scared to be called that R word, that we don't want to speak our minds, and we don't want to say and call out things for what they are. And that goes on all sides. And as we continue to march forward, look at young women. I mean, look at these young men are looking up to Jonas Brothers. Young women are glorifying Cardi B. What responsible man that loves his wife, that loves his mother, that loves his daughter is okay with the image that Cardi B perpetrates on society, especially to vulnerable young ladies? This is a problem. Now, these people are going to grow up. What comes after them? If we're talking about people that glorify, trash baskets like Cardi B, and this is what they're exposed to. What's going to happen when they get older? When our men are being taught to behave like Justin Bieber and look up to something like Justin Bieber, what kind of men are they going to be? Well, we know the answer to that, and yet we speed barrel as a nation, marching fastly towards our own demise, too afraid to speak up and say, you know what, morally that is wrong, and I do not approve. And culturally, this is wrong, and I do not approve. And I do feel that we are quickly coming to a point where the straw on the camel's back is approaching, where people are not afraid anymore to say, you know what, this is fucking stupid, this is evil, this is disgusting, and I don't want to co-sign or be a part of this trash lifestyle. I don't want this to be indicative or representative of my great country, the United States of America. And more from all sides and all demographics and walks of life, you're starting to slowly see a uptick in being cool to love your country again. And this needs to come a lot faster. But I will say that it's very important going forward as a nation that we embrace the other side, who I believe are starting to come over. And if we do not welcome them with open arms, if you do not see more once Bernie bros, or even a full-on conversion of libtards with blue hair, put the crap down and come over to the conservative side of things. If we don't welcome them with open arms and you don't start to see more of them, what what really are we about, and what really are we doing this for? So, as far as Hake Johnson goes, I want to say that this is why the primaries are so important. And I'm not talking to conservatives, although yes, I'm very clear that I want to see an extreme crimson freaking tsunami in the midterms. Although I don't think it will happen. I hope it does. I want it to. But we have got to show up to the primaries. Democrats should be looking at Hank Johnson in that district and wanting to know if they could actually do better. We are looking at Lindsey Graham's and John Thune's and James Lankford's on the conservative side, and we need to know that we can do better. And we have got to. We have simply got to demand more from our politicians and hold their feet to the fire, because the price we are going to pay if we do not is too high. On November 5th, we saw a great awakening of the American people that got up and went to the polls. They voted, in my humble personal opinion, along with 77 million other Americans, they voted correctly. They voted for the America First agenda. They voted for a secure border. They voted for American strength across the board and in this country and all over the entire earth. They voted that way despite the fact that the mainstream media for fucking 10 years now has told you, the American people, that Donald Trump is a racist bigot. He's a Nazi. He's pushing a white nationalist agenda. And if you're a person of color, you are pushing that agenda too. The fake witch hunts, the trials, the lawfare, the persecution of his constituents, the weaponization of the Justice Department along with the intelligence community against this man was so vast that while I sat in my prison cell at FCI Miami, there was times where I didn't think he could do it. Not that he was unable to do it or the American people weren't able to go that way. It's just that the apparatuses around him that were hard at work defaming this man would not allow him to become president. But lo and behold, we witnessed the hand of God, I personally believe, enter our realm and turn his head just 1 inch to the side and avoiding a sudden death and what I believe could possibly turn into a civil war, which is something I definitely do not want to see on this beautiful land. But God intervened, and here we are. God, if you're into the Bible at all, you read and you see that God will give you opportunities to save yourself. He's not just going to save it. And I believe that opportunity was November 5th. The people rose up and they voted correctly, and Donald Trump became the 47th president of the United States of America. Their work is not done. If we do not show up to the primaries and get him the help he needs and get rid of the people that are working against him, then all the work done leading up to November 5th will all be for nothing. We will not be able to get him the defensive blockers and tacklers that he's going to need going forward. They're going to pick up their propaganda machine like no other. The media will be empowered again as if they ever lost it. And they will continue the impeachment shams and the stopping of his America First agenda until the point where we are back at square one. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to go back to where we were just less than 200 days ago. I don't ever want to see it. And what the Democrats have done with their party and with this country, they do not deserve to be in power for a very long time until a great awakening happens within their party and they realize that the ideologies and the things that they push on the American people is something that the American people have clearly spoken that they do not want. Now, in the meantime, I hope that these people continue their antics with calling us all bigots and racists and transphobes this and transphobe that and all the names they have for us. Don't change. Don't stop. Because I don't want them to become I don't want this party to be in power anymore for a long time. I think that they're a compromised unit. I think that their missions and their goals by the people that pull the strings behind the scenes are very nefarious and downright evil. I do not want to see gender studies books for age groups of 5 to 8-year-olds being passed around the libraries of elementary schools around this nation. I would not appreciate stripper queen hour for kids. I don't appreciate drag queen story hour for kids. Whether gay or straight or trans, I do not think sexualizing children is a good thing. In fact, I believe it's quite evil. And I believe that men of God, men of country, men of reason, and men of moral have a spiritual and cosmic obligation to stand up and say no when it comes to our children. Whether you have them or not is irrelevant. Men's job is to be protectors. And when we have an organization, a group called the Democrat Party that is pushing for ideology that exposes children to inappropriate topics that their young minds should not be exposed to, just for the simple fact that they have not developed hormonally or maturely in any way or reason to be subjected to this, we have got to stand against that. And the Democrat Party has pushed this agenda. I do not believe the Democrat Party should be trusted. I do not believe the Democrat Party has people in their best interest, let alone the American people. And I feel that they should be stopped from having power, and that's where we, the people, come into play. Going forward, ladies and gentlemen, I want to challenge you guys all to get involved in your school board elections in the midterms. Know who is running your school boards. Know who is running for office. This is an easy layup that most of us pro-American loving individuals miss every single primary and midterm season because we're too complacent and lazy in our own way of being to give a damn. While these Marxist trash bags will walk across lakes of fire at 4 a.m. in a hailstorm, swim through a swimming pool of rubbing alcohol and razor blades to go vote for whatever school board member is running that wants to deliberately teach your children about transgender studies in kindergarten. They will get up and vote for them, while conservatives will sit home and it's more important to watch a rerun of a Yankees classic game than it is to get up and go vote for who's in control of teaching your children. No more. We can be complacent no more. I really hope that November 5th was a sign of the times to come, that Republican and conservative registration we will see go up from coast to coast. And with that comes a great responsibility of realizing that there is Republicans out there, and many of them, that do not have your best interest, that do not have a love for this country like they present in their ads when they're running for Congress or when they're running for Senate. I will agree, as much as it pains me to say this, sometimes conservatives can be pretty fucking stupid. We can. We fall for the dumbest shit. And you get these cowboy gunslinging campaign commercials of this westernized cowboy with his mustache and his cowboy hat and his 2 revolvers and his AR-15, riding an eagle, galloping on a horse, saying, "Wee-ha, I love America. Vote for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a real American." Mm-hmm. And we do, because of imagery. And then we would have had to do is look at this son of a bitch's voting record and realize how many times he voted for guys to enter females' bathrooms in school, how many times he voted against an America First agenda. The writing's on the wall, but we're too fucking lazy to look. No, we don't have to, because he put a commercial out with him riding a bald eagle with flames shooting out of his ass, playing a guitar with a cowboy hat in, and told you, "I'm a proud American," and you bought it. You got up and you voted for him. You don't think that's true? How the fuck else you think Lindsey Graham remains in office? How do you think John Thune is there? James Lankford's? Just that. That's all they have to do. That's the only thing they have to do is sell you on this American image, this image that you love, and pull on your heartstrings and fool you so you go out there and vote on a lie, thinking that this individual is going to support your Second Amendment. This individual is going to support your First Amendment. This individual is going to rein in the intelligence communities from violating your Fourth Amendment. But no, they don't, and they never did. But because they put out a fucking commercial that I just described, that's enough. That's enough for us to go put them back in office. And it's fucking ridiculous. These Democrats are deliberately voting for people that are immorally indoctrinating our children, that are wiping their arse with the Constitution. They are deliberately voting for that. Well, time and time again, us conservatives, we're voting for something that we're not getting, and we're continuing to vote for that. They're getting exactly what they vote for. They're getting trans crap and boys playing in girls' sports and crime and free heroin needles and freaking homeless sanctuary this, and they're getting what they vote for. They're getting what they want. Remember that. Remember that when James Langford puts his campaign commercial on and he's riding a horse through a ranch and he's listening to country music sitting on a bale of hay in the back of an old Ford pickup truck. You remember that James Langford tried to pass a bill leaving the border completely open and siding with Democrats. You remember that? Oklahoma. Remember that. Because according to James, he's more American than apple pie. As long as that apple pie identifies as a cherry pie and wants to use the girl's bathroom with a penis in the middle of it, he's Republican. We have got to say enough is enough. We have got to say that, damn it, I love this country. And I'm not going to sit back and say nothing while these asshats that lie to us constantly are resent back to office to continue to do what they have a complete track record of doing, which is absolutely fucking nothing. You hear me, Jim Jordan? Love you, bro, but you're fucking useless. And I'm tired of kissing these people's asses just because in a commercial or a soundbite in the news, they say something that really fucking sounds good. That really sounds great. It all sounds real good, but these sons of bitches aren't doing shit. And I'm tired of waiting. And I'm pretty sure you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Barry Ramey. I am the host of the new show on the Warboy Studios, The American Rising. Please take the time to follow this personal private X page that just got started. You see it right here on the screen at American Rise. The American Rise here on X. Take the time to follow at Warboy Studios here on X as well. We're a brand new underground project. We're just getting started. We don't plan on going anywhere, but they will probably censor us. So, stay tuned for that. But give us a follow, share our stuff out. We rely on you, the people, because social media works against guys like us. And you know what? That's a badge of fucking honor. So make sure you show up to those primaries, follow this page. And unless you play for the NFL, I suggest you never take a fucking knee to communism.
We will get through the uncertainty of a new administration in Washington. As I said, we've done this before. We've been to this. And
isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction.
You condemn white supremacy. And he bubbled around, didn't say anything. I said, how about the Proud Boys? And they said, well,
Ronald presidency when John Hinckley Jr. blew a $20 million.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
If you want to
But I-
really see something that said, take a look what happened.